Certainty of death? Small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Rankin. This is going to be a fun one. Today we're going to be talking Disney Channel original movies. And I've got a small panel here, but it's got a bunch of people that love them. I've got Brian here. Brian, how's it going?
Very good. I grew up on Disney Channel movies. I watched a couple of first episodes for the first time, and should be a fun time overall.
And we've got Chad here. Chad, how's it going?
Going great. Similar to Brian, I grew up on DComs, going all the way back to even before 97. Just a couple years before. I was only 7 in 97. And, you know, a lot of the movies that I'm going to be like throwing out is going to be from when I was younger. But I did not too long ago, like a pretty good rewatch of like a handful of them. So this should be really fun. I'm excited to see where you guys fall in the DCOM sphere.
See, funnily enough, like I didn't grow up with these just because I was already too old for them realistically when they first started. But but a few years ago, I just decided to watch them all on Disney Plus. Was like I think there's one of these shows was doing something DCOM related. I was like, you know, I'll just watch a whole bunch of them, and then it ended up me just watching them all. And so, so I don't really watch anything new for this, just because I've seen everything that was on Disney. That was actually on Disney Plus for me. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And just so people are clear, so basically we're including anything that is listed as a Disney Channel original movie or from before they rebranded to the Disney Channel premiere movie. So anything from 1983 to now is eligible. So if it was either a premiere movie, like, and there's a couple other ones where they are sometimes listed as like Disney Channel original movies, but they weren't made as one. Like, I'll give a couple examples, like things like Prime Pack, Some Party, which were Disney Plus, they're eligible. And then there's things like 16 Wishes, Harriet the Spy, Blog Wars, which I'm going to allow, even though they're technically not, but I'm going to allow them. And same with ones that were based on digital TV shows, but were actually released like Hannah Montana and all that. So
And High School Musical 3 as well, because that was theatrical.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to give all the examples. I mean, that's what I would have allowed regardless, because it's a sequel to a DCOM, regardless of how it was released. But with that, how Rankin is going to work, we're going to go around and nominate a movie we think belongs on a top 12 list, and then everyone else say yes or no to it. So I'm going to go to Brian first. Brian, what's the first one you're going to bring up?
Yeah, I'll go with one of the obvious ones. I'll go with the first DCOM I ever saw, which is the first High School Musical, actually, back in 06. This movie was a lot of fun. Spawned to a sequel to the TV series, which I do enjoy. The songs are catchy and fun. I know the Souls community, Chris Diaz, who's not a fan of this, but they're all good movies. I will nominate the first High School Musical for this episode.
Chad, what do you say about High School Musical?
Yeah, High School Musical I didn't grow up with because it just like right at that time was when I was like at the end of like my high school. So I was kind of on the, you know, I hate Zac Efron, you know, pretty boy kind of thing. I don't like all this stuff. Even though I was a theater kid, go figure, I still was just kind of like, that's not theater to me. That's not a movie I want to watch. And just a, you know, annoying kind of idiot high school kid, you know, thinking I was too cool for High School Musical. But I did not too long ago actually watch the entire trilogy. And I I actually kind of like them. I didn't fall in love like I know some of my other friends have, but I actually kind of like them. So yeah, I would give this a vote. I'd say that this is a worthy one because I feel like this was another like era, like starting a new era of kind of like Disney Channel original movies. So I feel like you have to at least shout out one of these. I don't know if I would say yes to more than that, but maybe we'll see. It depends on what no's come up and stuff. But yeah, I'll throw if this is the first one that shout out, I'll say yes to this one.
Yeah, no, this is an easy yes for me as well. This is one of the ones that I've seen a lot, sort of back when it first came out because my brother was really into it, and I actually just finished rewatching all three Oscar musical movies this weekend actually, and yeah, I think it's a fantastic trilogy. I haven't seen this TV show yet. I'll get around to it eventually. And yeah, so it's an easy yes for me for High School Musical. But Chad, we're going to go to you next. What is the next movie you're going to bring up? You're muted.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. So I'm going to bring up one that I actually, because I ranked a lot of these, and I did not actually rank this number one, even though I thought I was going to, but it's definitely one that I absolutely adore. So and I think needs to be here. It's a sports one. It's Brink with an exclamation point. I think Brink rules. I just love this story about, a kid who, is trying to, be true to himself as like a skater with his friends and be like real with his friends. They call themselves the Soul Skaters. And it's like, we skate for the love of the game. We skate for the love of it. And then he starts to get kind of like corrupted by, he needs the money, he needs the money. So he ends up going to skate for Team X Blades. And he sells out Puff and Suds for that. And, starts to not like himself. And I feel that's like a really good message of, kind of just being true to yourself, not selling out your friends for money and stuff like that. But you also kind of understand like he kind of needs to do this. So it creates some really good drama there. And I think that, it's really done really well. They would do something similar, I think, later in the game with like stuff like Good Burger and things like that about like, corporate being bad and stuff like that. So I think it has a solid message, and the skating sequences are actually really, really cool. I love watching a lot of those, even still as an adult. So I think this movie still slaps and skates.
Yeah. So I there's not a Decon movie that I don't like. So I'm just putting that out there. I like all the Decon movies to some extent. I know when I did my whole big binge of Decons, and I posted my list, this is one of the controversial ones that I had really low down on my list that people weren't happy with because while I liked it, I just didn't connect with it as much. It is one that I was, if I had more time, if I had a little bit of time, I would have rewatched it, but I was watching other things for something else that's coming up later on that I need to catch up on a few movies for as well. Yeah, so it's going to be a slight no, but I wouldn't be upset if it makes the list. Brian, what do you say about Brink?
Well, this is one of the 6 movies I watched for this episode. I enjoyed it. I'll give it a yes. I do agree with Chad. The Skacies are choreographed well. The guy who played Val, Sam Horrigan, plays a great jerk in the film. I love when he shows up. Even Christine Vidal, I quite enjoyed as well as buddies. I'll give it a yes.
With that, Brink is going to make the list. And it's on to me. I don't know how this one's going to go. I'm going to bring up one that when I did my binge of Decoms, this is one that kind of surprised me. Well, from how sort of compelling it was and how sort of it like a message it was telling as well. And that's the one called The Color of Friendship. basically it's about this sort of friendship where like two girls, one from United States, one from apartheid South Africa, who sort of learn about tolerance and racism. And this is one of those decoms which I think is still relevant today, because it's like obviously racism is still going on. But I think this is one that I think, especially with sort of it was surprisingly compelling, especially for a decom, which I didn't think it was be that deep. But you've got like a great performance from Carl Lumbly in here, and I think it's just one of those fantastic sort of stories where it's like it shows like you should really sort of treat everyone the same and like tolerance and that. So I don't know, this is one's going to go, but Brian, what do you say about The Color of Friendship?
I haven't seen this one.
Chad, what do you say about The Color of Friendship?
Yeah, you're in luck, Malcolm. When I started doing like a rewatch of a lot of them and ranking them, this ranked super high. I think it was my number one until another one dethroned it. But I kind of think about the same thing. Like, this surprised me as a decom. I did see this when it first came out. They were like releasing this during like Black History Month, and it was like my first kind of time, like kind of understanding what Black History Month is, and just trying to engage with like cinema that's trying to have a message about inclusion and acceptance and equality and things like that. And then rewatching it, I was like, is this going to be kind of like, like too preachy and not really kind of like hitting you over the head with it? It's freaking perfect. I think this movie does such a good job at like not doing that, but like really delivering a message of, like I said, inclusion and all that stuff and equality. And, I feel like the people who are like racist in the movie, like you kind of understand like how they've been kind of conditioned to believe that, and then you can kind of see people change and people kind of understand, especially because it's like the young woman who has been conditioned to be that way, from her family in South Africa, and then coming to America and seeing just how different things are. And then you get to see her slowly change. And I think that is really powerful, to see that friendship bloom and stuff like that. And like, it's one that I'm like, some of these decoms, not to talk down to other decoms, but like some of them I'm like, this is like just a great movie just in general. And it kind of like rises above just being like a movie for little kids or just, younger kids in like middle school and stuff like that. So I think this one's pretty powerful. I'd say yes.
That Color of Friendship is going to make the list, and we go back to Brian.
Yeah, I'll go with the one I watched for this, which is probably my favorite one of the watches. I'll go with Smart House for next nomination. This is like the Disney Channel version of 2001 Space Odyssey with this robotic house, which is kind of relevant now with AI. And you get Casey Golf, Futurama, Married Children as Pat, and also has Brian Merman from Final Destination #3, who played Kevin Fisher. It's a lot of fun. Has some good laughs with it. I love how he turns the robot house into like a mother for the family. It's a lot of fun. I'll go with Smart House.
Chad, what do you say about Smart House?
Yeah, you guys are making this easy. This is like just really easy for me. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yep, good. I would have probably brought that up too. Yeah, I love the Final Destination shout out. That was awesome. Yeah, Smart House is pretty great. I think it falls a little short for me sometimes rewatching it as an adult, where I'm like, maybe it's not like the greatest of movies, but like I do have a lot of nostalgia for it. This is one I watched when I was in, middle school and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, honestly, it probably has a lot to say now about like AI and, how dangerous that is and stuff. Very kind of like ahead of its time. I don't know how, smart it is of commentary, but, it's a very, I don't know, kind of like horror movie in a way, if you want to think about it that way, where it's like, the house is becoming sentient.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Terminator kind of a thing in a way. you don't want to make your house mad and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of really good moments between like, the father and son, father and daughter, and, kind of like, the mother's not around. And so a lot of really good commentary, a lot of good performances and things like that. Also the house, like before it starts going nuts, is super cool, where it's like, make me a smoothie. And then the table makes them a smoothie, or kitchen island makes you a smoothie. Yeah, and it's just like really cool. So it's kind of like, why don't we have that yet? I want that, please. So Smart House is pretty great.
Also save $1 for Brick as well, if you noticed, for Smart House.
I mean, it'll be probably the same answer as why we don't have flying cars at them right now. Is like they just can't be bothered inventing them. But yeah, no. I love Smart House. I think it's great, and I don't know if Brian mentioned it, but it's directed by LaForge from Star Trek.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah.
And Kwame from Captain Planet, which I actually didn't know until now. But yeah, I do like Smart House. I think it's pretty good, and it's an easy yes for me. So Smart House is going to make the list. Chad, we go back to you.
Yeah, this is tough. Like I'm like, really, really good with you guys with, trying to figure out, okay, I can come up with another one. Let's do Halloween Town. I feel like that's a pretty good shoe in. Hopefully, I don't know. I can't, tell if everybody's a fan, but I feel like that it's kind of a staple, especially, around like for like millennial like me around Halloween. I don't know if I watch it actually every single year, but especially with my son growing up and stuff like that and starting to get more into spooky things, I think I just might start putting on this movie because it's just such a great entryway to spooky things, to horror, and it's just really fun. It's got a good story about the women in this family and growing up and embracing things that are spooky, and I think it's really great. I think a lot of the costumes and stuff and makeup are kind of silly at times, but I think that's like the vibe of a DCOM if it's supposed to be kind of corny in a lot of ways. But you also, especially when you watch it back as an adult, you chuckle at some of that, but you also go like, I'm so nostalgic for it that I think it's really great and silly fun. So Halloween Town I think is great.
Yeah, this is another one that once again that I want. Like the bulk of these I probably watched for the first time when I did my whole binge a few years ago. But yeah, I think Halloween, like so it was like there's definitely a bunch of great franchises within the DCOM sphere, and I think Halloween Town I think is another great one. I actually follow the actress that plays Marnie on TikTok, and and she posted a TikTok of her sort of returning to the house where it was filmed, and yeah, I think it's just fantastic. It's an easy yes for me. But Brian, what do you say about Halloween Town?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Halloween Town, but I do enjoy it. It's all fun. I love Debbie Reynolds as the grandmother. She's a lot of fun there, and also April O'Neil in the film as well, Judith Hogue. Yeah, part of the Color franchise. So many actors still do conventions to this day. I'll give it a yes.
That Halloween Town is coming, is going to be on the list. So back to me. You know what? I'm gonna try get one of these ones on because I think this is another really great franchise. It's a more recent addition, a recent franchise to it, but I think it's fantastic, and it's one of the few franchises that's actually still ongoing because we're getting had a new one this year, and we're getting another new one I think next year. I think, but it's I'm gonna go for the first Descendants movie. Whereas like the children of like famous Disney villains, like in this are trying to sort of reclaim them their lineage and try to make them sort of prove that anyone can be that no one is defined as to being like villainous or not. And I just think it's fantastic. I think all the performances are great. And I just think it's just one of those franchises I think steadily gets better and better. And yeah, so yeah, and I want to say it's this one that's got like Kristen Chenoweth in it. Yeah, Kristen Chenoweth plays Maleficent in this, and I think she's fantastic in the role. But Brian, what do you say about the first Descendants?
Yeah, I do enjoy this franchise. It's a good one, but I prefer the third one in the series. But I'll give it a slight no.
Chad, what do you say about the first Descendants?
Yeah, unfortunately, I was going to let Brian decide that whole thing because I just haven't seen any of the Descendants ones. I've heard a lot of great things about them. I've heard they're pretty good, and I definitely want to check them out because I do like Disney stuff as well. So, that will be a fun one to watch, like, with my son and stuff like that as he's getting more into Disney kind of things. But, unfortunately, I just haven't seen it. And it makes me feel bad, though, because I do think some, like, later DCOM films should be represented, but I'm not in that generation and I haven't done like a full binge of them. I think if you do like a redux or remix later on, and I have seen like the other half of the DCOM lore, then maybe we could represent more later stuff. But for me, it's probably just going to be a lot more earlier stuff, unfortunately. But yeah, I got to abstain from this one.
Although I will say I'm surprised it took that long for them to do a DCOM based on Disney properties. But Brian, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
I'll bring up. Let's see. I'll bring up Horse Sense. This a movie about starring all the Lawrence brothers. Well, I'm in the cameo though, but basically, Joy Lawrence plays this stuck-up person who has to take care of his cousin when he visits LA, and is a jerk about it for the first half of the film, but Dad learns his lesson in the second half. I do enjoy the story of it, where the ranch goes out of business and he had to save it at the end. It's decent. I'll try for this one, Horse Sense.
Chad, what do you say about Horse Sense?
I don't think you have to try. I when I was watching through a bunch of these, I was like thinking, Brink was probably going to be my number one, or maybe some other ones and stuff. But and The Color of Friendship was number one for a second, and then Horse Sense took it. I was like, holy shit. I did not realize, I didn't remember just how good Horse Sense was. Because I remember seeing it back when I was a kid and then rewatching it. I just loved the idea of the boy from the ranch, doing things, I think in like Montana or something, coming back to see his brother, and his brother just ignores him just entirely. And you're just like, this is messed up. And then when, the tables turned, that's like when you get like a majority of the movie. And I just love the idea of, this city boy who just, thinks he's going to make all these deals and become this big hotshot producer or whatever he's going to do. And then he goes and he realizes he's never like really worked hard a day in his life, kind of a deal. He doesn't have any respect for people, and he realizes there's real things going on. They're about to lose the ranch, and it's pretty serious. And I just love like the connections that are made, and the brotherly love. That those brothers, Lawrence brothers, always kind of like had like a show called like Brotherly Love or something like that. And and then to see them come together and to see him gain respect for the ranch and things like that. I think was just really, really, really cool. And it just really felt just like a great movie. So yeah, I think Horse Sense is actually pretty great. And I think more people should watch it.
Yeah, I think Horse Sense is okay. Like, it's one of those. Once again, just like Blink, it's one of those ones that didn't resonate with me. Like, especially like when I was on a first, like, as an adult. It's just I think it's good. But yeah, I would have given it a slight no. But Horse Sense is going to make the list. But Chad, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
We're getting through a lot of my top tip tops. So I'm gonna go with another one that blew me away, and that's Johnny Tsunami. So another early one, but I really adore this one. It's similar to Horse Sense a little bit, where you think about it like one person who's used to like this, and then has to completely flip it to get used to something completely different. Where it's Johnny from Hawaii, loves surfing, just loves being living on the beach and stuff. Has to move to, because his dad works on computers and he's got to move for his job completely to what is Alaska, where it's like super cold, just snow everywhere, and so he has got to like adapt his surfing to snowboarding. And to see him kind of like adapt that, start to make friends, but then also like kind of like the arc that his father has in this movie is just really incredible to, kind of see that, like, it's like Johnny gets to see that, his dad's trying his best to provide for his family and, just do well at his job. And, it sucks when you have to move and just like uproot your entire life. And then his dad kind of learns that, like, because he always thought that his father was kind of a bum and just didn't really do anything. And then he just sees just like his dad's like super wise and stuff. And so Johnny's dad learns to kind of accept his father, Johnny's grandpa, and Johnny, and to see that, like, it's important for Johnny to, express himself and, make friends, in his own way, and like, do the things that he wants to do and stuff. And I love a lot of these stuff. Like some of these, like these top three, Horse Sense, Color of Friendship, and Johnny Tsunami came like the closest to making me cry. A decom like actually getting to me emotionally is just super impressive, I think. So Johnny Tsunami is incredible. I still haven't seen the sequel. I need to.
Yeah, funny enough, it's one of those decoms where it's kind of like the title makes you think the main character is the Johnny Tsunami person, but it's actually his grandpa, which is the Johnny Tsunami, which is the late Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa. And yeah, I do like this. I think it's good. I actually like the sequel more. I'm giving it a slight no. Brian, what do you say about Johnny Tsunami?
Yeah, I didn't really have time for this because Russian stuff for this and for Terrified, so I didn't have time to check it out. I'll get so upset
that Johnny Tsunami isn't going to make the list. And it comes back to me. And see, it's funny because Brian played his hand earlier, which I'm going to totally take advantage of, because I'm going to bring up Descendants 3 because look, I do like the third one a little bit more. I just thought I'd bring up the first one because I always thought that was more loved. But I think Descendants 3 is a great sequel to the Descendants franchise. And I think it's just as fantastic. And so yeah, I'm going to bring that up. Brian, what do you say about Descendants 3?
Yeah, this is a yes. It's my favorite of the series. Can you also get the addition of Hayes in there as Mal's father? I do enjoy playing by Cheyenne Jackson from Glee. He's having a lot of fun there. I also enjoy I believe it's Audrey who becomes the villain, if not mistaken. Yeah, I do enjoy her the villain. So I'll give it a yes to get he's on the list.
Jed, I'm assuming you haven't seen the third one if you haven't seen the first one.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them, but honestly, I'm happy that some of the later stuff gets represented because it's a lot of blind spots for me, but I really want to watch it, and I think a lot of people will be happy to see this get on the list anyway. So,
but that Sensei is going to make the list. Brian, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Yeah, I'll go for one of these movies based on Disney Channel because we got most of them were adapted from the series. I'll go with the Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension. This is a great film based on a series where the boys finally learn that Agent P is a spy, what they finally discovered, and they help Don Doofenshmirtz enter a new dimension where he takes over the world, and I do enjoy that take. I do enjoy the humor. Some of the Easter eggs for the series pop up into the film. I'll go with Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension.
Chad, what do you say about Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension?
Oh, okay, yeah. This one's tough. I don't think I've actually seen the movie, but I know that like the show is really cool and fun. I know for a while my wife Carrie really loved like Phineas and Ferb for a long time, and I just don't know if I've seen the actual movie, so I feel like I have to abstain from this as well, even though it is a fun show. I'm sure it's a very fun movie.
But yeah, funny enough, I haven't seen the TV show. I just watched this blind without seeing the TV show, and I think it's pretty solid. And I think it was just a lot of fun having. They were doing the multiverse stuff before the MCU did multiverse stuff. But yeah, I think the whole voice acting I think is fantastic, and yeah, so I'm gonna give it a slight yes. I like it enough to make the list.
Marco Sophus, the person playing Anne Hilda is voices the mom, Caroline Ray.
I know. I've always known that.
Okay.
But Chad, what is the next nomination?
We're getting towards the end of this list now, and Zetus Lapidus. If I don't bring up Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century, I would have to kick myself because this was one of the first ones that I fell in love with. Just the style of it, the idea of it, being like a kid in space story, but having to go to Earth. I mean, it's kind of like Thor a little bit if you think about it, like having to go to Earth and you're getting grounded, kind of a deal, literally grounded. I think it's just a really fun movie. I love a lot of the the iconography of the ship and stuff like that, and the rock band Protozoa and all that, and just seeing them live their lives on this ship to Earth and to see her adapt to it and stuff, I think is really fun. So, and it's got a lot of sequels too, and I think that's really cool because it just has a lot of potential for more stuff. And I think this and at least the first sequel I think are pretty great. So yeah, Xenon rules. Zetus Lapidus.
So this is this is another case where I like the sequel that little bit more, but it's also one of those cases where it's I just I think it's okay. I didn't fall in love with it as much as Chad did, just because of when I saw it. Was because I think back when these sequels were started, and the only ones I ever really saw was the big ones, or I think it might have only been High School Musical that I actually saw that my brother would always watch. But I think Xenon it is solid, and yeah, but it's a slight no from me. Brian, what do you say about Xenon, the girl of the tree?
Sorry, Chad, I haven't seen it.
It's okay, Malcolm. It's mostly because I had a crush on the star of the movie at the time, but we'll let that be. Hey, bring up the sequel later, maybe.
Maybe there's a lot more I've got higher than the sequel that I want to bring up, but I'm gonna try for this one. I'm gonna try for because I think this is a big one that that I think it's one of the rare ones. I think another one I probably watched before I did the binge, and that's Cadet Kelly with Hilary Duff and Christy Carlson Romano, and I think it's one of those fantastic ones where it's like this girl gets sent to a military camp, and I think it's just one of those ones where I think it shows that of how she managed to fit in, and I think despite everything being against her, and I think it's just one of those fantastic kind of stories, and that. So yeah, so Brian, what do you say about Cadet Kelly?
Yeah, it's been a very long time since I've seen it. It's better on TV when it aired back in the day. I do enjoy it. I do for rewatch, so I'll give it a no. Leave it up to Chad.
Chad, what do you say about Cadet Kelly?
Sorry. Yeah, this one is interesting because I love Lizzie McGuire, the show. I love even Stevens. So I love Ren Stevens from that show. And them coming together, I think was really great in this movie. I personally don't remember it that well. I think I probably saw all of it back in the day when it first came out. I remember, watching the trailers for it and getting hyped. And stuff. I just don't remember it because it's been so long since I've actually watched it. I didn't get to it in my latest kind of run through. And I'm sad about that because, I think maybe I would have said yes had we gotten there, but it's just one that I just don't really remember how much I actually like it. So I'm going to give it a slight no just because I don't remember it that well.
But Brian, we go back to you for your next nomination.
I'll try for Alley Cat Strike for my next nomination. This is about these group of teenagers who have the bowling club. And they get into ride with this high school ride between these two towns, both named Appleton, and they have to recruit this the star player to be part of the team. And at first he's not part of it, but then he grows to be part of the team. And you get a very young Kelly Croco in this film, and I do enjoy it, so I'll go with Alley Cat Strike.
Chad, what do you say about Alley Cat Strike?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I actually really love Alley Cat Strike, and I haven't rewatched that at all, but I still remember that one. That's one I watched multiple times because I just really dug it. I don't remember like a ton about it, but I remember really liking it, and I remember like at the end the Granny Smith bowling, and it's like taking forever for it to actually get there, but it's so like tense, and you're just like, is she gonna get like a strike? Like what's gonna happen here? Is it gonna be a gutter ball? Like what is this? And I'm just like, it's just like such an epic like decom moment. So yeah, I'll give a yes to Alley Cat Strike.
Once again, when it comes to these inspirational sports decoms, like for some reason watching them as an adult doesn't connect as much as watching it as if I'd watched them back as a kid. Because I like it, it's okay. But it's just one that I've liked. But yeah, so it'll be a slight no, but it's going to make the list anyway. And Chad, we go back to you.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go for like the original when they like changed it over from Premiere to actual real DCOM or whatever in '97. I'm gonna go with Under Wraps. It's actually one that's not on Disney Plus. You have to go on YouTube to watch it. But hey, I mean that still works, right? And I really like this. They've apparently like remade it. I haven't seen the remake, but it's like a newer one. I think the original one's pretty great, especially for like a Halloween watch. And it's about some kids that find a mummy, and instead of that being scary, they find out that the mummy is nice. And then there's stuff to deal with that and that friendship and everything. And I just really remember loving like this cast of friends, the trio. It's kind of like an early like Harry, Ron, Hermione kind of friendship, because it's like two guys and a girl, and they're all friends. And them, finding the mummy, I think it's just a really great setup and just a great like original like start for this run of DCOMs. And yeah, I just remember really loving this one as a little kid, and I rewatched it and I thought it was still pretty funny, still pretty good. So Under Wraps.
Yeah, I've seen the remake. The remake's not good. And I didn't even know the original was on YouTube, so I haven't seen it. Brian, what do you say about Under Wraps?
I haven't seen it.
Under Wraps isn't going to make this list, and it comes back to me. I'm gonna try for another one of the like franchise ones, and let's see if I pick the right one this time. But I'm gonna go for the OG Camp Rock. Look, I rewatched. When the new one came out, I knew that this week I was going to rewatch all the Camp Rock, the other two Camp Rocks leading up to the new one. The new one the 3 is still pretty good. It's not as good as the first one, though. I think the first one is really good. I think it's fantastic. And slightly related to this, but unrelated to this at the same time. One of the people from the sequel is actually going to be in New Zealand in October at the Armageddon convention I'm going to. It's Daniel Cash. He was the sort of leader of the opposition camp in the second one. He was also an Aliens appear as well. But the first Camp Rock, I think, is fantastic. And yeah, so Brian, what do you say about Camp Rock?
Yeah, Camp Rock with Disney Legends, Jonas Brothers, where they should not have been Disney Legends or Jim Cummings. But you chose the right movie, Malcolm. This is the one I've seen. I do enjoy it, and I do like the music, so I'll give it a yes.
Chad, what do you say about Camp Rock?
Yeah, this one's actually really interesting because it's kind of like High School Musical for me. I didn't get to this when I was younger. I was kind of like, I think, eye-rolly about Camp Rock back then. I was like, Jonas Brothers, no thank you, kind of a deal. And then, watching it now, seeing like, all the Jonas Brothers getting like, doing like, solo stuff, and especially Nick, and, now being in a movie that I love from this year, Power Ballad, which I think is incredible. I'm a fan. I like at least Nick Jonas, but seeing all of them in this, or not as much Kevin. I don't think he's really that big a part of it. Being in it, I think it is really cool. With what is her name? The star,
Demi Lovato.
Demi Lovato. Thank you. I think she's great in it, and I really enjoyed watching it just as an adult. I was like, this movie's kind of fun. I mean, it's a little corny in some ways and stuff, but I think that, is par for the course for watching DCOM and stuff. But like, it really does, I think, show like kids like expressing themselves and stuff like that, and building friendships and things like that. So, I think this one really does work, and it's kind of a good, like, later one. Like this is one that like a generation like just below me like grew up with and fell in love with. So just like High School Musical. So I'd say Camp Rock should be on the list. I'll say yes to.
Yeah, and just quickly, I will say I will defend the Jonas Brothers being kids in the Disney Legend because they were a big part of Disney, especially in the DCOM era. The Rock, however, who's only done one major character, should not be a Disney legend over Jim Cummings, who's done 400 characters. And even on a slide to like Anne Hathaway, like I think, well, she's deserving. I think over Jim Cummings, I think is ridiculous. But that was me, Brian. What is your next nomination?
Yeah, I'll go with the one that I'm surprised Chad had not brought up yet. I'll go with Even Stevens movie. This a movie where they go on vacation and they find out that they're part of a hidden reality show. It's a lot of fun. You get Tim Meadows in there. Also, Beans is in there. Chad's favorite character from Okeechobee. I'll try for Even Stevens movie.
Chad, what do you say about Even Stevens movie?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
But it's kind of out of sync, though.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yes, it's because my computer is actively dying. I just had to figure out something with plugging it up. So hopefully it'll charge and I can be good now. But if you can hear me and see me, then I'll go ahead and you what are you asking me about?
The
Even Stevens movie.
Even Stevens movie, yes. I love the show Even Stevens, and I remember when the movie was coming out, I was so excited because that's just like one of my big shows from Disney Channel was Even Stevens. Like I wanted to be Louis Stevens because I just thought he was so funny and so cool at the time. So seeing the movie come out, I remember seeing the movie. I thought it was awesome. I haven't watched it in a very long time. I don't remember a ton about it. I remember them going on vacation and hijinks and, stuff like that. But yeah, I was down for everything. Even Stevens, like the show, the musical episode was huge. I was super into that and then super into the movie. So I'll give a yes to it because I think it should be on there.
I'm not sure who this is, but I'm glad you love the stream and yeah. But yeah, I never I think I watched one or two episodes of Even Stevens movie and just didn't like it that much. Look, it's one of those shows I might go back to rewatch. But I've once again, there's another one that I've sort of mentioned when I did that watch a few years ago. I just watched the movie without just rewatching the TV series. It's fine. It would have been a no for me, but Even Stevens movie is going to make the list. For that, we've got 6. One spot left. Chad, do you have that movie that's going to fill up the last spot?
Oh shit, I have no idea. I know which one I'm gonna bring up because as I'm looking, there's only like a few that I can think of. I'm gonna bring up one that I love and see what you guys think, and then we can just go around doing that until we can get 2 people to agree on something. But I'm gonna throw out the movie Genius. I really love that. It has Emmy Rossum in it from Shameless and Phantom of the Opera. She was like the love interest for the main character. But I've always loved this movie because it was a guy who his like cool personality was I believe his name was Chaz, and that's close to my name. And so I was like, I felt like I was this kid where he's like, kind of nerdy. He's a genius, of course. So he's literally like doing like going to college as a young kid. And then he has to go back to school, or wants to go back to school to like see this girl, and then he ends up playing cool or whatever, and then it's kind of one of those things like living the double life, kind of a sitcom like level thing, but in like a movie where you can like flesh it out, and you get to see all of these different things, and the lives and the lies start to really close in on him, and he can't handle being both of these kids at once, and he has to learn some hard lessons and things like that. But it's really kind of iconic. I love him the school parts, but also just him being like a genius underneath the ice for the ice skating rink, and also being like a hockey fan and stuff like that. I just think it's like really, really, really cool movie, pun intended. And yeah, I just really love Genius. So there you
go. Yeah, I remember when I watched Genius when I was doing that like a few years ago. It was like I remember doing a double tap. It's like, hang on, that's Eric Kirby from Jurassic Park 3. I do quite like Genius. I think it is a pretty like solid movie. I think it's pretty good. I'm just gonna go a slight no, but Brian, what do you say about Genius?
I haven't seen it.
Back to me. I'm gonna go for this one. And I fully know am aware I'm probably going to be alone here, but I'm gonna bring up the Teen Beach movie, where it's basically the decom version of the like teenage surfing movie that like you would have seen in like the 60s, 70s, like with Frankie Avalon and that, and I think it was just a really fun one. Like, I think the Teen Beach movie is just really fun, and just having Barry Bostwick in here as a surfer, I think is kind of random. But yeah, so and I think this singing in this is great. But Brian, what do you say about Teen Beach movie?
Yeah, I do enjoy both Teen Beach movies, but I'll give it a side no because it's lower down on my list.
And Chad, what do you say about Teen Beach movie?
Yeah, funny enough, I looked it up because I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna have to abstain. But I was looking it up and I was like, oh, that I see that 88% Rotten Tomatoes score, and then I look closer, I'm like, oh wait, 8 reviews, 8 people really, really liked it. But no, I'd be excited to watch it when I do another decom kind of binge and get there. So
to be fair, I think the only decoms that probably have like a lot of reviews on Rotten Tomatoes is probably like things like Descendants, High School Musical, the bigger ones. But Brian, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
Yeah, let's go with Double Ryan Merriman. I'll go with Luck of the Irish for my next nomination. Basically, this boy named Kyle, who's always lucky, loses a gold coin or something, and slowly begins to start turning into a leprechaun. It's a lot of fun. The basketball scenes are great. I do enjoy the humor in it. So I'll go with Luck of the Irish.
Chad, what do you say about Luck of the Irish?
Hey, I'm totally fine to close this out on Luck of the Irish. So I'm going to say yes, because this definitely was one that, I was hyped for when it came out. I know, sorry, Malcolm, it's another decom sports movie, but, it was a movie that I really enjoyed. Another Ryan Merriman movie. And I just remember this being so cool, like a, Irish movie about basketball. It's just such an interesting idea. And I remember his whole transformation stuff being kind of cool, kind of like a Teen Wolf-esque, I guess, if you want to think about it that way. And just being like really interesting. Oh, did you say wasn't this didn't have no. This didn't have the person I'm thinking of. So I'm not going to mention
What do you
that.
think of?
Anyways, no, never mind. Nothing. But yeah, I think this movie is really cool. So I'll say yes.
So if you're about to say that you thought it had Timothy Omundson in it, you'll be correct. Because Timothy Omundson is in this movie. He was Seamus. But yeah, no, it's one of those ones that that I actually do enjoy. I think it is pretty good. And it's because I've been listening to the podcast Magical Rewind with Wolf Riddell and Sabrina Bryan sort of talking about DComs, and they covered Luck of the Irish, and they were just like stunned with like all the references and stuff like that. I don't know. I think I remember rightly that I think they didn't like it as much as, but funny enough, as a really random note, because I've just looked up on Wikipedia. Apparently, Ryan Coogler revealed in a panel for Sinners, and he said he found inspiration in the Luck of the Irish as he watched it like crazy growing up and noticed similarities between
millennials.
Irish and Black. Yeah. So I think that was just something really random that I found out, but yeah, this would have actually been a yes for me because I do like Luck of the Irish. But if that is going to close it out. Chad, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Yeah, so I got let's see, Lemonade Mouth. That's like a later one that I watched because I was super into Smile 2, and help me out, Naomi Scott is in both movies, and it's pretty great in Lemonade Mouth 2. It's a fun movie about like a band and stuff. You Lucky Dog. That was like one of the original DComs. Was really cool. Kirk Cameron in there. Up and Away. The 13th Year I didn't love as much, but still kind of cool. Can of Worms I think is a little cringe now actually. Susie Q. I didn't realize that was one like way back in the day that I watched before like they started transitioning into DComs. The Paper Brigade. I remember loving that movie. Halloween Town 2. Don't Look Under the Bed is like one of the scariest like kid horror movies I've ever seen. So I'm really excited to rewatch that. I don't even know if I'll have Elliot in the room because it might be too scary. Wait till he's in like middle school for that. Frankie Muniz, Miracle in Lane 2. I really like that one. Quince. The Other Me. It's another Lawrence movie. Just a little Lawrence, I think. Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire, another really cool, like a Halloween-esque movie. Phantom of the Megaplex, just real quick. I remember finding the little kid in that really annoying, and I was like, Mom, this little kid is really annoying in this movie. And she was like, she just had like a really good mom burn where she was like, well, he's in a movie and you're not. So I was like, Mom. But anyways, Xenon 2, True Confessions. It's another Shia LaBeouf movie. And then I had like the 3 High School Musicals. I knew one had to get on here, so I'm glad we chose the first one because it's really good.
For me, some ones I would have brought up that I ended up not bringing up because they're probably on the more recent end of it that a lot of people probably haven't seen, but there's a movie called Upside Down Magic, which I think is a lot of fun, that came out in 2020. Girl vs. Monster, I think, is a pretty fun DCOM starring Schmoedown's own Brendan Meyer. Trying to find ones that weren't mentioned by other people. Wendy Wu Homecoming Warrior, I think, is pretty good. I also really enjoyed Phineas and Ferb, the movie Candace Against the Universe. And I didn't bring any of them up just because I didn't know how they would have gone. But I'm actually a sucker for the zombies movies. I think the zombies movies, starring Milo Manheim, I think, and Meg Donnelly, I think, are pretty fantastic as well. And I also really like Princess Protection Program. But Brian, any honorable mentions that you want to bring up?
Yeah, the ones that were mentioned. I do enjoy the Wizard Radio Place movie. Dead Brother. I finished that recently. I enjoyed that. The sequel to High School Musical, Descendants 2, the Proud Family movie, the Street Life movie, and also eventually the Babysitter remake.
But if that is time for the fun part of actually ranking these, you can either write it on a board, or if you don't have a board handy, just say it. But Brian, what do you have at number 12?
The Color of Friendship.
Chad, what do you have at number 12?
I'll just put Descendants 3 just because I haven't seen it.
Which means we're going to have a three-way tie because I went Even Stevens movie. So if there's anyone in the chat, Descendants 3, Even Stevens movie, or The Color of Friendship. The first one I'll see. And Leo's got in there, and it's going to be Descendants 3.
It was Color of Friendship?
No, Descendants 3 is going to be at 12. But Chad, what do you have? What are you going to put at 11?
I'll do. Screw it. I'll go with you. I'll go Even Stevens movie. I don't want Color of Friendship to get that low.
Yeah, same with Even Stevens movie. And Brian,
I watched a street there for Even Stevens.
moving on to number 10. Look, I'm sorry, I just wasn't that high on Brink, so Brink is. I'm going to. Brian, what do you get? What?
Yeah, sorry, Chad. Color of Friendship.
Chad, what do you want at 10?
I love both of these movies. I'll go. I'll just go Phineas and Ferb and let the chat decide.
Brink, Color of Friendship, Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension. The first comment I see will decide on what ends up at 10. No, you can't mess with me on Facebook. But it's going to be Phineas and Ferb. Yeah.
I like this guy in the chat. I'll say.
It's the first time I encountered Leo. He's always in the chat for this.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a. He's not saying. I think it's more of a case he likes him because he's not.
I've been agreeing with Chad a lot.
Not, yeah. But Brian, what do you want at 9?
Color of Friendship.
Chad.
I don't know, man. I'll go Alley Cat Strike. Maybe.
I'm sticking with Brink. So Leo, Brink, Alley Cat Strike, or The Color of Friendship. Which of the three? And it's going to be Alley Cat Strike.
Ayo. You're gonna think I paid Leo.
I don't think he's AI, so.
But moving on to 8. Chad, what do you have at 8?
Oh, let's see. This is really tough. I hate to do it. I'll go Camp No, I'll go look up the Irish.
I'm sticking with Brink. Brian.
I'll still stick with Color Friendship, Leo to Leo.
The Malcolm approach.
So we got Brink, Lucky the Irish, and Color of Friendship. Oh no, that's the end of Friendship.
Oh, damn it! Literally.
That would have been my number one.
Yeah, that one's so good, but oh well.
But moving on to number 7, I'm sticking with Brink, Brian.
I'll go Cap Rock.
And Chad.
All right, I won't risk Brink. I'll go Camp Rock too.
So Camp Rock will be at 7. Into the top 6, we've got High School Musical, we've got Brink, we've got Smart House, we've got Halloween Town, Horse Sense, and The Luck of Irish left. Brian, what do you have at 6?
I'll go with Luck of the Irish.
Chad.
Same, Luck of Irish.
And I'm sticking with Brink, but Lucky the Irish is going to be at 6.
All right, we got Brink to the top 5.
Maybe number 1. We shall see.
Yeah, that's right. She's
Chad, what do you have for 5?
Oh my god.
Yeah, sounds good.
I don't. Sorry, I have Carrie talking in the background. Sorry guys. Say Horse Sense, Halloween Town, Smart House. Oh, I'll go Smart House.
I'm sticking with Brink, Brian.
I'll make it. Do my tie. I'll go with Halloween Town.
So we've got Brink, Halloween Town, and Smart House. Leo, you're in the chat. Which one do you want at 5? And it's going to be Smart House.
I remember number 4.
Okay.
Brian, what do you have for 4?
I'll go with Horse Sense.
How are you?
Chad.
Honestly, this kind of sucks, but I'm gonna go High School Musical just because like the other 3 I'm like are top 3 for me.
I'm going to go Brink. So Brink, Horse Sense, and High School Musical. Go to Leo in the chat.
I bet he goes Horse Sense. I feel like a lot of people haven't seen that one.
Hey, you call the Chad.
It's really good though. If you haven't seen it,
It is.
All right. So we got Halloween Town, High School Musical, and Brink left. Chad, what do you have for number 3?
yeah, and I'll still go High School Musical, but it's just because I love the other 2 more.
I'm sticking
Slightly.
with Brink. Brian.
I'll go Halloween Town.
Of course, the only 3 options we had left: Halloween Town,
Right.
Brink, or High School Musical. Leo, which of those 3 you getting it? You're not going to like this, Chad.
Oh,
Why number 5?
oh well. Hey, number 3. That's fine.
Number 99 on my list.
Wow, that low.
He wasn't a
Man.
fan of it. Remember? When he
You know
first
what?
watched-
Malcolm's Team X Blades. That explains it.
Well, as I said, as I said, when I first posted my list a few years ago, that was the one that a lot of people were criticizing me for.
You like
But
what you like.
with that, number one is either going to be High School Musical or Halloween Town, both of them starting with the letter H.
And both franchises.
Yeah. But Brian, which of the two do you want at number one?
High School Musical.
Chad.
I'd actually be fine with either, but I'm gonna go with my nostalgia. I'm gonna go with Halloween Town.
I'm gonna go with my nostalgia, High School Musical.
Nice.
But that High School Musical is going to be the number one decom on this. It's one of those ones that depends on how it would have done for different panel. Granted, there wasn't a lot of people that was like really amping up for it. Some people voted for it just so Chad could talk decoms. Which they admitted to me when I asked them to be on the episode. But our top 12 Disney Channel original movies at number 12 got Descendants 3. At 11 got the Even Stevens movie. At 10 we got Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension. At 9 we got Alley Cat Strike. At 8 we got The Colour of Friendship. At 7 we got Camp Rock. At 6 we got The Luck of the Irish. At 5 we got Smart Ass. At number 4 we got Horse Sense. At 3 we got Brink. At 2 we got Halloween Town. And number 1 is High School Musical. But with that is the end of ranking for this week. Next week's episode, we've got top 12 Jason Statham movies. It should be a lot of fun. And then we've got a couple weeks where I'm not going to be doing a poll because next week's episode is going to be 399, which means we do have the 400 episode coming up. But before we get to the 400th episode, I've decided there's going to be a gap in between the 399 episode because I'm doing a fun thing that I'm going to be calling the rank and bracket roulette. What that means, I'm not explaining it yet. I'll explain it in a post close next week. But it's going to be a lot of fun. And I did a lot of work with and well, not really, but I did a lot of work a couple of weeks because I just wanted to make sure because there was some misconceptions of my data I've been keeping on this so I had to sort of just double check, make sure all the data was accurate and that but yeah so that will be in between the 399 episode and 400 but Brian, we can be upon you online.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me on. This is a lot of fun. You can find me on most shows, basis Moyplex, TBNT Trivia, Subtitle Live South, made the Pierce Code with Jacob Barber, Brings Back Teen Tournament, which I'm as part of over there. RIP JPO was also a great person's community. Tournament fights, I'll be on there for probably for the official places to visit that around then, and anyone else you can find me on.
Chad, we can be upon you online.
I also want to mirror that. Rest in peace, JPO. Love you to death. All that. Also, I'm glad we could get our heads in the game to rank these decoms and have make a really great list here. I as soon as I can get done watching a lot more, do the binge that Malcolm did. I want to do a redux of this and see if we can get a lot more overall representation, because I know this is a lot of my era, but hey, this is the panel that's doing it. But yeah, this was a really good list, really, really solid stuff here. a lot of my childhood. So love that. Yeah. So check me out, Cinema Chad. Check me out, Welcome to Primetime. If you love horror, if you love ranking stuff, check out that stuff. Just movies in general, and then also check out the Dill Pickle Movie Network, where I do Picture This. It's an Oscar show. It's really fun. Malcolm's been on. It's just really great. So thank you for having me. I love ranking shit. So
Yeah.
thank you.
I mean, I guess you could say High School Musical just bopped its way to the top. Look, someone had to say it. I thought Chad was going to say it. But yeah, you can find me on Tape Productions as I host rank him every week. Next week we'll be doing top 12 Jason Statham movies. You can also find me on my own personal YouTube channel, Mountain Earth Media, where I host people from the past. The next episode is still Judgment Day 2006. The date hasn't changed. I'm also planning a new show for them I'm going to be doing on my own channel. I haven't finalized details on that at all, so I don't really have anything to tease about that. But yeah, and I pop up here and there on the Review Network. I'm not sure when. I think the next time you're going to see me is Zach's birthday episode. But
That's tasty one.
yeah, but until next time, we'll see you all next time. And keep reading shit.